Yo! Activision just said that Modern Warfare is the most played Call of Duty of this generation, and on top of that, it has already made $1 billion in sales. Holy shit, we need to crack open the champagne bottles. We need to get all the cocaine out and start doing lines up the wazoo like Scarface. I mean, seriously, like, yeah. But it's not all 100% as true as they say. So now these people here at Activision are very, very clever. So I'm going to get into that. And welcome back to another video, guys. It's Jack, the non-supreme beta male Call of Duty athlete wannabe. And quite frankly, we got a lot to talk about in this video. But first and foremost, the thing is, you got to give credit to where credit is due. When these guys release information about how much money they make on a yearly basis for the quarterly or whatever the hell it is, or right before the holidays or right by the holidays, you know, they give you some factual information, but at the same time, in certain instances, I smell possible bullshit, and it's very interesting because, well, why would you be sending letters to people or emails, whatever the hell it is, asking them what it would take for them to come back to play Call of Duty if this is the most played Call of Duty of this generation, and if you made this kind of money as well? Because ultimately, that's, when it comes to it, that's all they care about, right? I can, you know, as far as Activision is concerned, you know, when it comes to the devs, I mean, obviously they should care about the player base and how many players are playing or not playing, but apparently this year has proven that they sure as hell fucking don't. I mean, especially when you compare it to the last game of Infinite Warfare. I mean, with Infinite Warfare, I mean, at least they tried their absolute asses off to basically please the community in so many ways as possible. I mean, everything from, like, the way you can grind for weapons and all that kind of other stuff, and constant new game modes, constant updates, constantly implementing things into the game time and time again that basically said, hey, play our game. But, yeah, we just ignored them, so I guess this is payback in a sense, which is why I think Joe Seacock has a personal vendetta against the Call of Duty community, which is why he and his team are not listening to us, but that's just a complete conspiracy, so I don't know. Interesting subject nonetheless, huh? But with that being said, why in the hell would you be sending out emails asking people what would it take for them to come back to Call of Duty if this is the case? And you can't really say that this is the most played Call of Duty of this generation because, well, they're giving themselves 3 times the amount of credit. So we're going to get more in depth on this article here when we get into the gameplay commentary. But the thing is that they've implemented crossplay, and it's no secret right now that they've implemented crossplay to also get additional data for the skill-based matchmaking to make it worse than ever. I mean, look up skill-based matchmaking patent and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And yes, it is real. So, with all this being said, first, before getting into the gameplay commentary that will be, as usual, uncensored, unfiltered, uncircumcised, you know the deal, I also wanted to say a special thank you to all the viewers that have been coming to my Twitch streams. The link will be down in the description below for those of you guys that are interested. In the last couple of streams alone, we've gained another 10 followers. It's been absolutely stupendous, spectacular, miraculous. It's been awesome, and it's awesome to have company on stream and have things to communicate about back and forth when I do stream. And it's absolutely awesome. And no, I am not streaming Modern Warfare. I just I refuse to subject myself to that kind of torture. So with all that being said, let's get in depth about this half truth, half lie bullshit on this article. And here we go.
All right, guys, so I just want to, let's get into this article because I want to read it to you so that way we can just get into it. It's not really a long article. It's a really short one. So before I give you my thoughts on it, we can kind of see eye to eye and we can be in sync, so to speak, with everything. So without further ado, let's get into it. I already told you what the title is, so we'll just get straight into the article itself. So Activision Publishing has announced that Call of Duty Modern Warfare is the most played Call of Duty game in this console generation, beating out Black Ops 3, World War II, and more to the number one Call of Duty game since and more to be the number one Call of Duty game since 2012. Activision's Call of Duty Modern Warfare continues to drive momentum, delivering new heights in multiplayer engagement within the franchise. For this console generation, Modern Warfare has outpaced all previous Call of Duty multiplayer experiences of this generation in hours played, hours per player, and average daily players, on its way to becoming the most played Call of Duty multiplayer in the first 50 days since launch in 6 years. Activision also confirmed that Modern Warfare has passed $1 billion in worldwide sale through the end of November 2019 and is the best-selling premium game of 2019. There has been over 500 million hours played and over 300 million multiplayer matches played thus far. The award-winning title, which has sold more than 1 billion in sell-through worldwide, has surpassed 500 million multiplayer hours played since release, with nearly 300 million multiplayer matches upon release. The title featured a series of firsts for Call of Duty, including crossplay and cross-progression support, as well as the removal of Season Pass and delivery of new post-release content coming free for all players on all platforms. The momentum of Modern Warfare from day one has been incredible. Players are having a great time and are continuing to engage across the multiplayer experience at the highest level in years. We're also seeing new franchise highs for this console generation in hours played, hours per player, and average daily players, said Byron Bede, Executive Vice President and General Manager for Call of Duty Activision. It's great to see the fan response to the hard work from our development teams led by Infinity Ward. Players are having a great time, and others much more to come as we continue to deliver new content. Activision re-highlighted that brand new content is coming early in the game today, including new multiplayer maps and modes. We're bringing our players together to play cross platforms, but to play across all platforms, and that continues today with the new wave of content coming from everyone for free, said Patrick Kelly, co-studio head of creative director for developer Infinity Ward. Starting today, Vacant and Shipment are in full multiplayer rotation. Players can also jump into new gunfight maps, play a new special ops mission, and play fun new modes, starting with Cranked. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Season 1, featuring the new Battle Pass as well as the largest free content offering in Call of Duty history, continues today with the release of the following to all players for free: 2 new gunfight maps, Vacant, Shipment, 2 gunfight maps, blah, blah, blah. Oh, those were 2 multiplayer maps. New Spec Ops missions and new multiplayer game mode. Stay tuned for the new update. Okay, guys. I don't know about you, but it was really, really difficult for me to read all that because I just felt like laughing in between. I mean, I kind of did a few times, but man. These guys are really just, part of me wants to give them credit, honestly, because the way they're dishing things out, it's like, well, they're not lying in terms of a few things, but at the same time, they are lying. Like, for instance, let me give you a good example before we move on to this, right? Here's one good example. Like, at release, right, we got a bunch of maps. If you include, like, every single little piece of content in terms of the 6v6 maps, the 3 ground war maps, the gunfight maps, if you put all those numbers together, we've gotten more maps than any other Call of Duty. But if you read between the lines, we've only gotten, like, what, a total of 6 for 6v6 or something like that, like 5 or 6. So the players that play traditional multiplayer definitely got the shaft. But if you count every single map with the new modes and ground war and all that kind of stuff, well, it adds up to be more maps. So yeah, there are more maps, but in terms of the ones that we specifically are playing on, depending on which mode we normally play on, it is actually way less. So we're actually getting way less, even though they say they delivered more, and they delivered more on a different aspect. And this is the exact same way that they are wording this shit. In other words, like where they say they have the most players and the most hours per played, well, they've implemented crossplay, so they're able to simultaneously across all 3 platforms, they are able to basically track Xbox, PlayStation, and PC all in one, all in data. And while they're clever enough to name their content this way and to say that they've given us more than ever this way, well, they might as well say the same thing with the amount of players and hours. Because and on one hand, it's true because you've got all those 3 platforms playing all together at once instead of separately, and which is another reason why they've implemented cross-platform play, obviously, is because of the they're able to get more in depth with the skill-based matchmaking with that kind of data when everybody's playing simultaneously at once and from all 3 different platforms. They're really able to get deeper when you're recording data from 3 different platforms going on at once, and when they're interacting together all at once. So that's why the skill-based matchmaking patent, and you can just look that up, and that shit's real. That's why the skill-based matchmaking patent is the way it is. That's why skill-based matchmaking is the way it is now in terms of what the patent says. So it's absolutely crazy, man. Holy shit. These guys are so cleverly wording this shit that I mean, they're cleverly telling us the truth while simultaneously lying to us. I mean, what do you even call this shit? So, yeah, that's just a whole lot of bullshit. I mean, really, I mean, on one hand, you know, in terms of, the battle pass for Modern Warfare, in terms of a few things, like you're able to grind for weapons. I don't know if you'll be able to grind for all. And don't forget, all this shit is subject to change and subject to be manipulated in the very near future. There's absolutely no doubt about that. You guys know how clever these guys are. I just given you a couple of examples right here in this video alone. And there are other YouTubers and content creators that are far better than I am and do what I do, but even better, and are even more informative than I am in terms of the news and the way they present it to you, that I'm sure you've already seen it, and they've given you examples as well in terms of just how cleverly manipulative these guys over at Infinity Ward, as well as Activision, more Activision than Infinity Ward can be, but they do work hand in hand. So in other words, if Infinity Ward has to keep quiet about skill-based matchmaking, they will be quiet about skill-based matchmaking if Activision wants them to stay quiet. Or if there are plans to manipulate the battle pass or the season pass, whatever the fuck they want to call it, even further in order to get people to buy more microtransactions, stuff like that, for basic things that we used to get previously. Like, for instance, obviously the maps are not charging, so we can't really shit on them for that, even though they're saying they're giving us more new content than ever before. It's like, no, you're not giving us new content. You're giving us reskin content, along with a couple of other bullshit things added in. In other words, what do I mean by bullshit? As the sirens are going off in the background, I don't know if you can hear that, but they're not coming for me. I'm good. That's not Activision calling the cops on me. but the thing is, they're basically, like, the way they're making the maps and sending us back, I mean, they're adding in bullshit because that's how the game is designed. It's designed to protect noobs and give them infinite places to hide, doors to hide behind, and all that kind of other shit. But anyway, that's already been talked about in this channel and other channels included as well. But yeah, you guys know where I'm getting with this. You guys have to be like, you have to be literally clinically retarded to not see between the lines of the way that they are promoting themselves and the game and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it is a business, and in traditional business, for those of you guys that know anything about business or traditional business or whatever the fuck you want to call it, or if you're in sales or something like that, there are very few, if not any, there's probably none at all, any businesses out there that don't give you bullshit. I mean, there's no 100% clean business. They always have to give you a bit of bullshit. They're always, every single business, no matter what kind of business it is, and everybody that works for that business have to make that business sound better than what it actually is, or else they'll get fired, or else they'll lose numbers, or whatever the hell the deal is. Because if your business doesn't sound like the best thing in the world, guess what? You're going to pay in some way, shape, or form, whether it's loss in numbers, which means loss of revenue, loss of money, and all this kind of stuff. So bullshit works, man. Bullshit works just like drama works. I mean, and we're not just talking YouTube and drama channels. We're talking like even the news itself, which I'm not going to get into I'm not going to touch on that anymore, because if there's a couple things that I always will leave out of my channel is politics and religion. Don't expect that shit on my channel, but I just wanted to give a couple words here and just talk about all this shit, man. So, and once again, before I leave you again, it really is dear to my heart that you guys have been absolutely supportive in the streams. So I wanted to thank you guys very much. The link will be down in the description below, as I said earlier. You guys have been awesome. I'm probably going to stream a little bit later today, sometime after this video gets posted or whatnot. So I'd love to see you guys there, for those of you guys that have a chance to come by. And if I think on weekends I will also be having a consistent play with viewers. So anyway, also follow me on Twitter in terms of more updates, in terms of when I go live and all that kind of stuff. But that's all I got for this one, guys. Let me know down in the comment section, what are your opinions? What are your thoughts? And as always, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I can do to make my videos better. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.